Fucker. God damn it. I'll get a phone stand sometime. Oh my. Oh! Okay. Maybe. Oh, okay. They make phone holders. And I'm just like, alright. Okay. Welcome everyone. Burrell here. Flow Roofing. And Saturday morning conversation this time. And we are finally settled in, actually. Settled in, moved in 80-90%. The rest of the day I'll be doing painting, and I've got to get probably maybe 10 or 20 more rose bushes to get planted there along the highway. We've got a lot of procurement slash shopping to do. We've gotten notes indicating that the universe is going to be pushing us towards a pretty big project, and so we'll have to speak on maybe later on just something around the energy inputs. I mean, let's just so my sister surprised me with my birthday the other day, and I don't know if she knows this, but I'm definitely going to take her. She got fucking Tash Sultana tickets. I don't know if you guys understand who Tash is. She's one of my all-time faves. I'll cry a lot to Tash. She's a fucking angel. Self-taught guitarist, probably one of the best in the world. Amazing vocalist. Had a concert to literally save the koalas for the Australian wildfire, and I actually had seen her down in Eugene years ago, and she's gonna be playing at McMiniman's Edgefield, which that's like the bee's knees of the Pacific Northwest. So the Edgefield actually come full circle maybe 7 years ago was the reason why this sign exists, and that's a completely separate story about glass animals, but pretty big into the music scene here in Portland. I fucking love music. It is the only reason I'm able to keep on going, keep on flowing. Ultimately, though, so much going on, so much to talk about. This shop move is also another extension of the universe, just kind of reinforcing my belief that you get out what you put in. And so I mean, the creation process, creating something out of nothing, is insane. I mean, we got super lucky in the timing. There was a concrete company that was on our heels to actually get the location, and location's fine, but functionality and security was the biggest reason. We've been hiding off in the industrial district of Northwest Portland, and people say, "Oh yeah, I see your trucks all the time, this and that." But I'm like, "Damn, really?" Like, it's cool, but like, we had actually shopped for a couple other locations and nothing was lining up, and this one came about, and Michelle, the property owner, was super open to the idea of a local family-owned roofing company coming in. And I mean, it fits everything that we're looking for. It's got the space, it's got the signage, it's got the exposure, it's got the security, the fencing that I never had. So we're in here now a week and a day, and guess what? No break-ins. Awesome. At the last shop, no fence, no security. I had 2 break-ins, 1 theft in a month. So, I mean, I just get to have a different night's quality sleep, like knowing that there's a fence around our shit. It's like, God, it's like, why did it take this long? you know, but everything happens for a reason, right? And to see the lesson in everything, for better or worse, is super important to understanding the journey and all that there is to evolving along the path that's never going to be linear, right? And so Um, there's so many different tangent conversations we can have, but like we'd originally posted another video that was around to flow or not to flow, and I think there was a theme that was mentioned at some point in there that was something around the fluidity in defining your own vocabulary and making sure that you have the awareness that you have the power to create your environment. You have the ability to not conform to the definitions around you. Like how I define pizza is different than how you think of pizza, right? So how I flow, how we flow is going to be different than how everyone else flows, okay? But there are common principles, right? So pizza, generally, got to have dough. There should be some cheese. There's vegan options, I get it. There's even dessert pies. So again, though, how you flow, it's a noun, it's a verb, it's an adjective. It's got all sorts of different definitions based on your own life experience, and that's the secret sauce right there. No pun intended with the pizza thing. Anywho, you'll probably see me zipping around, buzzing around the shop. We're gonna paint next week too. Finally, Tuesday's looking 74 and sunny. I think come Monday, a vendor it wants to go fishing, and I haven't been fishing in so long that I couldn't say no, but like also he's just such a key client, a solid dude that like you have to say yes at a certain point, right? And I would say that the only reason we got this far is from being disciplined around being willing to say no and not being liked because of it, and that extends to client requests, friend requests, like family obligation, all these different little details. The discipline and the focus it takes to hold the line is heavy. So we're going to go ahead and explore a little bit of what's going on here, a little more on how we do things. First off, the best roofs are built from the inside out. I don't know how to simplify it more about what Flow's purpose is, other than letting people know that we are a inside out roofing company that happens to throw shingles on your roof. Okay, so we're always optimizing ventilation on every single replacement. You can get our economy system, right? You can get you could be multifamily. We've got a project coming up that's like, oops, sorry, there's some sort of advertisement, stupid notifications. We've got a multi-building project coming up. That's part of the tie-in to the conversation we'll have later. But the logistics around something like that, in order for it to flow, which wasn't the topic that actually we'd just gotten into. See, that's how bad this lifestyle's pulling me in every direction. I lose my train of thought all the fucking time. But it's exciting again, like the whole roof inside out. Okay. The premise of that project was that the original builders didn't do the ventilation detail right. So there's a claim against the builders. There's all sorts of workmanship defects, and like 2 or 3 of the major concerns are stemming from the ventilation detail not being balanced, not using the right components, short circuiting the ventilation with the intakes, too close to the exhaust, firewall issues. It's heavy, because it's not just one building, and it's affecting more than one client in the property. So we've seen this actually, it's not the first time. As soon as I started Flow back in the day, I took the belt off. I sold the gutter machine to become a roofer and study roofing as the path to lead where we are today. So this conversation, all these conversations here, we're spring 2025, we're tail end of March now, are literal tip of the spear conversations, because I've never made it this far, and people go, oh, red flag, this or that. Listen, I guess I'll just put the intro in this video, and you guys can kind of take a look at what we do and determine whether or not like we can handle that. There's a capacity conversation we're going to have too later. So capacity is a little bit different than quality control and ability. So again, back to the definitions, right? So first off, why isn't Flow all corporate, this and that? Like, my sister brings in this bathroom cabinet here in her office, and it's Saturday, so she's not in. But yeah, there's no private equity here at Flow Roofing, which is a blessing to have held out for fucking 7 years. The trajectory, I'll tell you guys, it was a slow burn, okay? The first year, it was like $250,000 in gross sales in gutters, okay? And to scrape to get, and that was gutters, and then also combined with, at the time, with pizza. Scrape together, could you imagine? Okay, some people make literal take-home $250,000 a year. But no, your gross, your material, labor, and sales, not including your gas, your insurance, and everything, is $250,000, okay? So I was looking at a Menchie's franchise, because I fucking love Froyo. Menchie's killing it. So I was looking at their numbers, and like this is just like late 2024, had the conversation, and the average store makes just over $400K gross. So your net take home before fees and taxes is they said around averaging 200. And that's probably in a hyper-saturated market, maybe multiple different Menchie's, maybe there's different ice cream options. I don't know. They're pretty particular about where you put the locations, and we had a prime option there. But ultimately, the investment actually was going to detract from Flow's opportunities, and so I had to, again, Alex Hormozi would say, pretty late in the red dress, okay? So you have to stay focused and disciplined, because that opportunity, I could literally have taken down Flow. A little bit of Menchie's action, like, sounds harmless, right? Like, I come from ice cream, so being probiotic with a little bit of that peanut butter raspberry action on the cake batter. Oh, throw some grams on that, some Nilla wafers. I'm done. Call it. That's all I need for the rest of my life. So, what else? So the ventilation detail. Best roofs are built from the inside out. So I don't have any of the goggles here with me right now, but fundamentally, this is the way I trained all my inspectors. So, and I mean, granted, like every other roofing company is going to say that they're the best, this or that. Like at Flow Roofing here, we're probably a solid like 8.5. We're not 9. We're not 10. We're not flawless. You know, I think it's a true 8.5. The effort that the team's putting in, the training I know my guys have gone through, the results, the amount of callbacks we've ever had, I'm just like, cool, we're fucking solid here. So, and I mean, that's the difference between Google versus my reality. I see the 5.0, I'm like, oh fuck, people are gonna come in thinking we're perfect. You know, we gotta try to make sure we do give them that white glove treatment, and we always want to step up to, like, so I mean, like, and this is where, you know, sports analogies come together with business, and that's actually probably why I enjoy business so much. Whether it's pizza, I mean, that's not the foundation. Fundamentally, business is amazing just because you get to continue to create. Okay, so people shit on business and corporations and capitalism. It bothers me in the way that, like, that tells me that they maybe not have tested themselves to reach their fullest potential. And you know, I've done some paintings before, and they've sent me down a rabbit hole in the past. And you again, back to you are a product of your environment. Okay, the way that business aligns with creativity is, you know, if you do it right, I think doing business right is starting something from the ground up. Okay, then you truly understand all the nooks and crannies of the thing. So, you know, maybe in 10 years I'll be like, oh yeah, give me a franchise because I'll have all the problems worked out. But having gone and done multiple businesses now, to have literally seen the nuts and bolts of what keeps it all together, on top of having the dream associated with seeing a future that you don't know is going to even come to fruition or not. Okay, So it's exciting because you don't know what tomorrow's going to hold. And now, over 7 years down this path, like waking up, I snooze my alarm and it's normally at 5, and I still woke up before like the snooze alarm. I was just like, fuck, I got to get these roses planted, I got to get these walls painted, and the team's been helping out and getting everything prepped and aligned and ready, but we're trying to create an experience, and that's what I've taken from pizza, was that food is life, right? And Jesus broke bread, and the energy around us, the energy that flows between every little atom in the multiverse, is connected through a type of fluid energy that isn't always seen, right? And we don't always have the best explanation for it. And some people say, oh, well, God is all around us, and there's no, scientists would say that, well, there's dark matter, but it's still something, right? And I don't understand dark matter enough to dive in, but the idea that it's all connected means that everything has a purpose. Now, not all actions, or let's say, we could just two sides of the coin, yin and yang. There's evil for sure. There's definitely negative energy. I don't consider gravity negative energy at all. It's just part of the principles of physics. But when you're looking at your own life and how you want to structure your own energy, if you want to center your life around positivity, you have to create your environment. And again, so business is that beautiful opportunity to create. And if an artist is creating on a medium and they choose the medium to be a canvas, and one of my favorite artists is, I mispronounce his name, is Luke Schrodinger. I think it's saying Luke Schrodinger. He's got this incredible style, and a couple of his paintings are so freaking amazing. Like, they just make you stare. Like, you instantly just realize something about what he's trying to create. And so even though it's just a painting, it's not just any painting, but any painting, even the Mona Lisa. So these paintings are, in a way, adding value by creating something from nothing. And in that process, the universe is determining value on something that all of us other conscious entities or unconscious entities are responding to, okay? And so, the universe created the star, and we're all responding to it. Plants are responding to it, right? We share that D3, D4 relationship with the plant DNA in our own skin to be able to get the nutrients. And, I guess they say 25% of the biomechanical processes in your body are dependent on sunshine or D3 conversions to D4, which is the relationship from our direct ancestors when we were freaking sea kelp out in the ocean. So, again, you guys believe what you want to believe. I'm partial to my own experience because I'm mortal and that's all I know. I've seen some shit. I've seen, and I don't know. I haven't seen everything. Okay, so that's the idea is that people jump on other people because they assume that just because they said something is what they believe, when what they say is the moment of what they know. And ideally, if we're all to be quality humans, Homo sapiens, living together harmoniously, then having the fluidity of flowing together so that we can understand that, change is constant, right? Then maybe we can all kind of jive together a little better, right? So I'll say that, again, business is amazing because of that ability to create something from nothing, which is the same. It's a different medium, but it's the same principles of an artist expressing himself, right? So my expression of our approach to roofing is by seeing and approaching roofs from the inside out, okay? And how we build the roofs is the medium, okay? The plywood is the canvas, right? And you can't have a dirty, rotten canvas, right? You can't have a moldy, you can't have a wet, you need to have a clean, dry canvas, okay? Doesn't mean you need to change the canvas all the time, right? So if it's not broke, don't fix it, right? So at least that's how I train my project managers. So, well, how can you possibly run a show worth considering if you can't even have a conversation, a straightforward conversation? Look, I understand. I can completely understand that argument. But just like we're in this room together, I'm in this room alone, you're in your room alone, you were wherever you're listening, and there's a space that's so necessary to growth as an adult around solitude, the comfortability with yourself, your own mindset, your own beliefs, your own mistakes, your failures, your lessons, your wins, and then creating your filter, which, I mean, you don't create your filter, but cleaning your filter to make sure that your filter doesn't just let any old bullshit in, right? Having a clean filter is probably the single biggest superpower to getting what you want in the universe. Because if you let some negativity in, this is where, like, I don't go on to Nature's Metal and just watch fucking antelopes. Goodness. I don't watch antelopes getting torn apart for fun. I mean, Nature's Metal is if you guys don't know about that, it's like some of the hardcore action parts of Discovery Channel kind of stuff. We're gonna see if we can't. This is so ghetto. Okay. I just gotta not touch the table. Okay. Ready for another tangent? I completely got distracted. The phone drops. All right. So energy flow, inside out, standards, future, growth, business, creativity. Fear. Oh, fear. Fear is such a common human emotion. But here's the thing. And I don't have any lessons or like standard approaches other than books you're familiar with where like obstacle is the way, right? Fear is the way. If you're afraid of falling in love, maybe that means you need to wait until you're ready. But when you're ready, like, this is where I'm at with love, is that I'm preparing to go so deep that we create our own star. We're creating our own multiverse, our own reality, which is completely boundless of any standard assumptions, any standard, like, a method. I mean, yes, we're going to have to drive on the highways and check into the fucking airport to get where we want to go. But ultimately, being free to create. And I mean, I don't, this is again where I draw the line and how I vet people either on the team or in my life. Like, I need to know your mindset isn't restrained by the monotonous, caged, limited, oh God, it's everything that's normal in the American society. But, you know, I've seen this in different countries where the people are a little happier. And often, I believe that actually it's, you know, the hedonic treadmill of the materialistic society of America that is keeping up with the Joneses and comparison, the marketing, the drug issues that the pharmaceutical companies are pushing around, their own priorities. Like I I had insurance last year because my sister wanted it, and now it's cool. We're actually going to provide it for the whole team here, um, with dental and some other an eye, I guess maybe. So, um, the idea behind, and so the reason why I bring up insurance is because I've never had insurance in the way that I feel like you take care of your body, and your body takes care of you, and you have the ability to control what's in front of you, which is your environment, right? And what you put in your hands and what you put in your mouth, what you let in your body is so critical to trying to optimize for the best result, right? So chance favors the prepared. The universe responds to good energy. You get out what you put in, and if you're putting in garbage, you're gonna get garbage. Same thing with the information. Okay, so so this drives me crazy actually. A supplier here in Portland always had on the TV just negative, if it bleeds, it leads news on the fucking TV. Every time I would come I'm just like, every time I would fucking say to their people too, I'm like, get this shit off your TV. Like the Olympics are on. Why are you not watching something great, inspirational slash like that it's a little more constructive than just like it was. So I almost stopped doing business with them, and they actually changed it, which is cool. I don't know if someone heard me or not, but I mean, then I go in there now and then people are all smiling a lot more. Like I remember that mood, and I was like, who the fuck is letting you guys watch this shit? Like it's brainwashing people. Literally, we're already addicted to screens enough. It's like, might as well like filter again. You have the ability to choose who you. I have very specific individuals that I listen to because I've vetted out whether or not I want that information in my brain. Okay, and that sounds so basic and simple when you say it, but when you look at the different news and media outlets, I'm not super political at all, and the way that I've heard them take these conversations and twist them up in a way that adds more views and clicks because that's their model, right? Their model is not truth; it's the thing that gets the most reaction. Um, is anyway. So business is creation. It's the essence of what the universe wants us humans to do. I think the universe is a female. Oh, he said it. Oh, he went binary. Fuck you guys. I got a biology degree from Oregon State. I have seen my own little artificial cerebral spinal fluid bathed neurons grow in a petri dish. To see and unravel the different proteins and amino acids with the different enzymes of the cells in your body, and then teach it to students in laboratories, right? As an assistant, and do a little bit of math too as a teaching assistant. I was only a B student, right? But you get out what you put in. So a B student could actually be an A student if he tried hard enough. But because I was so extracurricular, you know what I'm saying? My third year, and this is the same energy that I started with. I was like, there's no way. I'm like, after my second year, I'm going through Oregon State. I'm like, holy shit, I'm halfway through. That's too fast. Like, what? I got to do something different, right? And like, there's a big cohort of people that go Greek, and I was like, there's a negative connotation with the Greek lifestyle, and then there's all those people that have talked shit after that, right? So, like, oh shit, you didn't go Greek. I went athletics, right? I knew that like I had not reached my peak physical performance, and that I wanted to test myself. And so from some random reason, I chose to join a rowing class. I was taking dancing classes, and then I went into like a rowing class as one of those I can't say that shit. Curricular activities. And coach was like, oh dude, you're 6'3", you pull hard, you might be a good come try to walk on, right? So Um, I love water. Water is such a critical component of flow, how I flow, my own lifestyle, and and how what I need in my life. I need bodies of water. I need rivers, lakes, and oceans. Rain. I'm a plant, right? I've rooted myself here in Portland, and I'm trying to provide nutrients for all of you other plants that I've rooted in Portland, in the Pacific Northwest. The nutrient we'll talk about more is truth. The nutrient that people need is honesty, especially in roofing. Okay, and that's all right. So back to Oregon State. The energy. My coach, Coach Gabe Winkler, still there. Killer individual. The dude rode with Olympians, and again, you're a product of your environment. The people that are around you lift you up, right? You want to get better with someone. You want to golf, get better with golf. You can golf with better dudes. You want to play better basketball, you play with better basketball. You want to get a better artist, you want to be with better artists. You want to be a better business, you find better business people. Okay, it is so oddly universal, and these lessons that I'm trying to distill even in this very moment are like so potently true that like I love that type of truth. It's the same truth that people need to hear when they have some shit that says that mean like they don't want to hear. Oh yeah, you had a couple sheets of plywood that was rotten. We send them the pictures, right? Like we told you to expect a couple. Here we are, right? Setting expectations, communication is the fundamental foundation of any successful relationship, professional relationship, emotional, romantic, friendships. Like you gotta be willing to communicate, over communicate, right? Well, if I know what you know and I know what I know, then I know twice of what you know because I know twice of what you just said because I know what I know, which means I'm twice as better as you, right? It doesn't make sense. I don't usually make sense, but the idea is to understand in communication in any relationship. The project that's going to be coming up here in a couple months leads us to, I actually almost start writing this down so we go through it like line item by line item, but ultimately, Oregon State, Gabe Winkler, thank you, man. Like that, don't stop until you're passed out mindset of making sure that you gave it, like in that regard, like you literally have to go until you're dead in order to know whether or not you've given it your all, which is the standard especially for a walk-on squad, right? So like there's teams that are naturally gifted, they can just go poach a 6'10" German dude and like that's UW squad, right? They're insane machines with rowing, and so those guys always whooped our ass. Same with Stanford and just bigger schools. They have scholarship programs for those men's programs, whereas Oregon State through Title IX gave the women in rowing the scholarship, which is totally fine. Actually, the reason why I went to New Zealand actually was because one of the ladies on the female team had a family on the North Island, and we were good friends. So she just got married. Cheers, congratulations, Bailey. The idea that capitalism is evil. Yes, there are people that are a little more black and white who run businesses that are not exactly taking carbon out of the atmosphere and planting roses. Those different businesses out there, and roofing is got a lot of issues in the industry itself. People say, "Oh, well, why don't they just use roofing for potholes and shit?" Like, there's a massive shingle issue. Watch Dimitri Lipinski's Roofing Insights channel for the shingles out on Hawaii's islands, they just keep freighting over more shingles, but there's nowhere to throw them away, and it's not as recyclable as you would think. And so, but leave it to a good entrepreneur. Someone will find out, and when they do, to get that chemical blend into a thing that can actually pave roads, I feel like that's the go-to for that product. There's guys out there that are making bricks out of tires, right, and or charcoal for like instant barbecues or something. There's so many things out there, right? But so there are capitalists though that don't give a fuck, and at all costs they just want to make profit. They don't want to leave a legacy. They just want to maximize and take. But the universe is not going to respond to them the same way. And us being intelligent beings, so far the most intelligent, but soon to be second on that tier. As soon as we put consciousness or an AI and soon to be these humanoid robots, you're not going to need to watch any of these stupid videos anymore, right? Like, you're going to be able to have a conversation with someone, I just call the robot someone, an individual. The robot is an individual. So if we're having the conversation with an individual who may not have a carbon-based iron heme fluid flowing through their body, like, why do we need to have these anymore? I don't know. Interesting. But holy shit. How about we stay on one track here, Boudreaux? Okay? So let's start from the beginning. The announcement that we have a pretty large project that's going to be starting in May, and we're timing it to make sure that we can try to have it done by fall. People go, well, roofing is pretty quick. Why can't you just get it done? It's pretty large in the way that we only did about 250 roofs last year, just a little over, I think, is what my sister said. And people think, oh, Flow Roofing must be so big, and or you're a franchise because your logo's too nice or whatever the fuck. We got lucky on the logo, okay? The logo came from a $20 fiber request. I said, hey, make me Flow Roofing, but twist the F up and make the logo Flow. And we got so lucky on that. And I saw it, and I was just like, oh my goodness. Like, we went and trademarked it, all the different things. Excuse me. The one project isn't going to take away from residential, but what it's going to do is cap residential. So the original goal was 500 for this year naturally. Let's just try to double again, right? And that was going to be the game plan, but now we're taking it down to 400. So Flow is not going to do more than 400 roofs this year in residential replacements, which is still a great bar for success, depending on how you define it, right? But that allows us to make sure that everyone's getting the experience that I want them to have, which is a quality, flowing, smooth, low surprise, high expectation, flowing experience, okay? The issue with trying to maximize, and here's the thing, I laugh at this, okay? So all my competitors, I guess, in the market have been tainted by private equity interests. So there's individuals in those companies that are trying to maximize. They're not maximizing for experience, they're maximizing for results, which are the bottom line, okay? So they are trending towards subcontracting, which is leaving the door open for those that are trying to have higher standards and more control, like Flow, by hiring in-house and W-2 teams. So not only would you just hire any old team, but then we get to the point of this facility is to optimize for training. And that's probably the most exciting aspect of this move, is to make sure that I know everyone's doing the exact same system because I've had them over at the shop and they're installing what I expect, which is basically along the lines of a Malarkey premium warranty. And we don't actually offer Malarkey premium warranties because in the fine print you actually have to fuck with the siding, okay? And we're not siders, we're roofers here. We do roofs and gutters. We say master of 1.5, roofs and gutters. And that type of focus and discipline, in the beginning I had 3 things on the door. It was painting, roofs, and gutters. And then I was just like, no, we're just roofing. And then I went and added gutters because that's like part of almost half the requests we get. It's like, hey, can you throw the gutters in? So, training, consistency, predictable results. This is how you flow smoothly. This is how you grow smoothly. This is how I believe we're going to grow. And here's the thing. We know what the cool announcement is on this. We get a bigger project and we're limiting how many residential roofs we get to do. We're lowering our residential prices, everyone, which is amazing. We're not going to be increasing prices in 2025, maybe until August when the second price increase comes. So we're going to eat the first price increase of the year for you guys. And that is, I never thought I would ever have that opportunity to do it, which is pretty awesome. And so the idea there, though, is that we can be a little more selective with our clientele and that we can take a little more time to educate the people that choose to consider flow for the project. And ultimately, the one project, which is actually a part of maybe about 10 different projects at this point, it takes the weight off of the inspectors to do anything other than just provide value. Okay, back to Alex Hormozy's principle. I listened to both of his books, $100 Million Leads, $100 Million. What was the other one? They're pretty amazing now. In his YouTube channel, if anyone doesn't know Alex Hormozy, you got to go take a look at him. Like the guy's got so many rock solid principles rooted in truth, undeniable truths. Again, that's one of the reasons why I completely buy into everything that he has to say around business, because it applies to every business across the way. He's also got acquisition.com. That guy's principle is to only over deliver by giving as much free as possible, which is inspiring, because I come from $5 slice of pizza where in order to pay for the rent, we had to do X amount, which means you have to show up, which means you have to go warm up the oven an hour before, which means you have to prep the veggies if you want to have a good pie, all these different things, okay? First off, fresh pineapple on your fucking pizza, okay? No question. And actually that extended out into Hood River Peaches for the Chorizo El Rey, which was an 18-month dry-aged Olympia Provisions chorizo. It was beautiful. You peel off the skin and it's just like, what the fuck? And then you put some fresh Oregon peaches on that shit. We didn't stop at peaches, so it was fresh pineapple, it was peaches, it was pears, it was onions, of course, but like, we never really got into olives, which I only started liking just recently. In the most recent surf trip, I went to Morocco, and they call it the land of the rights. And a buddy I'd met on another surf trip said, you have to go check out Morocco. And I'd been going down to this one spot so many times, like I have to go see other parts of the world. This is getting bad. So I'm a little bit of a snowbird because I disappear in January, and that kind of helps jump me into spring while teams are organizing, building, and it's primarily repair and gutter season and maintenance season, December, January. So it's not quite as production focused, but so the big announcement again. So we're dropping residential prices, which is amazing, and we're gonna stack the calendar, take no more than 400. If you're in the 400 list, congratulations. Like, we're gonna serve you to the highest of our abilities. the training that we're putting our project managers through, the installers as well, the repair techs, and then separating these residential folks from our commercial folks to make sure that our commercial folks are serving commercial in the commercial fashion. And so, full transparency, there's two different gloves on the hand, okay? You get white glove residential treatment, and then for commercial, don't get upset with me, okay? I call it the golden glove treatment for commercial, okay? And this is your fault, everyone. So when I was doing inspections, and I could be on your property for a half hour, I could be on your property for an hour and a half, depending on how we were vibing. I loved everyone's gardens in Portland. Everyone had beautiful flowers in the spring. It's one of the reasons why I love the Pacific Northwest so much. I'll be planting these rose bushes here later today. And then I have actually some, I think they're just like a pollinators mix of seeds too that I'm going to throw around too, just because we have that like south-facing slope of grass now. It needs some color. So, wait, what were we talking about? Shit. We're going to get this one, you guys. Fuck. Oh no. Ventilation, flow, surf trip, Morocco, land of the rights, flowing. No, got into flowers. God damn it. We're going to have to start over, you guys. This is not good. Okay, so, limiting projects, 400, quality control. So, 5 years ago, I was wearing the belt. I was your gutter installer. I was your sales rep. I was your subcontractor, and we're still a subcontractor for GCs in the area. We can beat anyone's pricing if they really want us to, and feel free to price check us. Like, send us in your competing quotes. I don't care. We will go toe to toe. So again, Gabe Winkler, Oregon State, that Warriors mindset. I would rather be the warrior in the garden than the gardener in the war, right? Which has been the principle that's been carried me through thick or thin, right? Like when I was wearing the belt and everyone was finding their lovebirds, starting families, getting their first house after graduating, I was out in the shit, questioning what the fuck I was doing, right? I could be getting heat stroke in front of the oven in summer, or freezing my ass off. I remember one of the last jobs my buddy did before he went abroad was on a snow-packed roof up in rhododendron, and he was freezing. And I know those days, and I remember them all too well. And those days when you can't wait to get into a hot shower because you told a customer and you want to stand by your word because what you say means something. And in construction, you say what you do what you say. And you do it early, and you do it early only, ideally. So again, to setting expectations with anyone that we want to work with, the timeline, the ETAs, we're going to tell you 8 to 10 weeks, but we're going to come in 4 to 6 if that's the wait time, okay? So that way the fields are generally starting out on the right foot, right? Setting out expectations from the beginning. You're going to have a full resheet of plywood. This is a 3-story building. There's going to be a hand haul fee, right? We drop 4 roofs on the ground because you got 4 layers, 3 stories down. We're going to protect your siding, but also we're going to have to hand load that shit because you don't have a driveway here in Northeast, Southeast Portland. So we're transparent about those additional costs, right? God damn, expectations are so important. So when I was the gutter guy, when the pandemic hit, I was starting to make decisions. I was like, okay, this is a beautiful opportunity to start fresh. And I sold the gutter truck, and in order to take off the belt, and thank God I took the belt off. Every contractor who's grown something significant, maybe from the ground up, who's worn the belt, understands the issue around trusting others to do a job better than you, which never happens. Only the owner cares as much. And so, but if you find individuals who are 90 or 80% bought in, then you got a pretty good squad. So that's where we're at right now, which is awesome. But the idea was that I was going to rebrand, and I had a humble little like 40, 50 reviews back in that day. And I was like, well, shit, that took like 2 years to get those. Like, why don't I just do a rebrand, right? And I've been on the roofs. I know all these roofers now. Why don't we try to get into roofing, right? And so the pandemic happened for a beautiful reason. That year, I just said, okay, we're going to go as hard as possible in gutters, but this winter of 2020, I was going to go into a roofing company. And that was the worst timing of the transition, because then I lost out on all of the people that didn't go on vacations that then put that money into like increasing their home value, which is a stupid, reasonable, smart way to spend your money, I think. But we were not a part of the wave where everyone was like, yeah, we doubled in 2020 because everyone wasn't taking vacations or pouring into their asset. I was pivoting in that time. And again, though, perfect time, because everything happens again for a reason. And from there, had only one crew of roofers that I could trust to do the final magnet sweep, to leave the gutters clean, to make sure I didn't have return trips, which was how I began to grow. One fucking roof at a time, as the project manager, as the inspector, as the quality control, as the accountant, as storage. Like, it was gnarly, right? And so furthermore, I chose a damn Google mailbox. Everyone knows that off of MLK. Well, that's not your warehouse. What do you got? So I wanted to be centralized and identify with Portland, to be local, right? And like that's still our principle today, and that's how we'll flow into Seattle actually as well. It's going to be extremely hyper local in a market that's super saturated with private equity. So all my biggest competitors that I identify with here in Portland in the residential side are backed now and tainted by private equity, which means they're going to take a subcontractor route, which I say to them, good luck, boys and girls, because I've been down that route. And if you want the best for your clients, if you want the best outcome, if you want the least amount of return trips, you invest in your own teams, you bring that shit in-house. It may be slower growth, but it's stronger growth. And it doesn't mean we're perfect by any means. Like, our in-house crews are amazing. We've got one customer that we're making sure in the end is taken care of the right way. Ultimately, you stand by your work either way, right? And so we're backed by Dimitri Lipinski's RoofingInsightsDirectory.com. 20K guarantee. We'll never use that because Flow's going to make it right, first off. And, if we broke a rose bush, God forbid we break a rose bush, we're replacing that fucking rose, okay? I love it, though, when clients say, don't hurt my rose bushes, okay? Because we're going to bring in extra plywood, we'll build A-frames, protect the damn thing. So, you guys put a lot of energy into your gardens. You deserve the best protection. So, this big project actually is going to afford us some additional precautions that we're going to start bringing out to the rest of the public here, probably in 2026. We'll see. It just really depends. There's some major considerations on how we're going to make everything flow smoothly, ultimately in the name of making sure that the reputation is protected, that the assets are all given the same approach as the day I started. And when I was on the roofs, I got to see all the good, the bad, and the ugly, okay? I don't have, I've not installed a ton of roofs myself, okay? But I've been on my roofs with my crews, your roofs with my crews, to see what happens when you get a third, fourth, fifth layer, when you don't ventilate properly. And that was my niche. I would go in, the way we start our full inspection routine is consistent with any residential inspection. So commercial, we'll have to talk about in a separate video, because all of you guys, you're on a different level. I think the reason why I went on this tangent actually was because I was about to tell you this story around why I had to take the belt off, because, and you're not going to like this, but it's the truth, and the truth hurts sometimes, okay? So hopefully you're simmering down. Buyers are liars, okay? Which, that's fine. Everyone's entitled to making their own decisions. I don't blame you. I'm the same way, right? Like, oh yeah, I'm here to buy some earphones. I'm just shopping. I'm just checking to see what the price is looking like. Why should I go to Costco versus Best Buy, right? Buyers are liars, and I took that shit personally, because I would have these heart-to-heart conversations with people, my favorite people, my homeowners at the time. You were my children, my eggs. I was going to keep you safe from nefarious fucks that wouldn't give a shit. The big guys out there that are subcontracting, and the guys that just show up whenever they want, willy-nilly. So there was a group though, and I think what my closing rate is, and so closing rate is a little too salesy for me. I yell at my people, so you can ask them, what does Flo think about sale? We don't sell shit at Flo Roofing, okay? We don't sell shit. We provide a service. So that is a little too salesy for me. But if I was to look back on key performance indicators, KPIs of, measurements of growth, I would look to say that I had about a 50% closing rate, which means that when I go into an interaction with you, I'm showing up knowing that we're probably going to do business. And that optimistic approach that this is what it's like where the grass is greener was, I believe, a lot to do with why people bought into the vision of why attic ventilation is so critical. Because it's built into, one, the housing DNA, not the housing DNA, the building code DNA, the FHA standards of all residential buildings. It extends into multifamily as well. We're dealing with some of those fun problems as well as people. Well, I'll say right now, thank you to all you other roofers and you other contractors for neglecting ventilation detail, because it's allowing us to come in and provide an education to build trust and make relationships for people that are not taking it seriously. So I might need to do a quick walk around, because I've been on here for so long and I left the garage open. I want someone to come just pick through our shit. I want to have an open shop policy, okay, Portland? We're still about a month away from being open to the public, but everyone will be able to come by, poke, ask questions. I know it's not sexy and fuck you, Flo, I don't need to come by your stupid shop. Our policy is open, maybe eventually by appointment only, okay? So we're excited about being transparent about how we approach roofing in an industry, in a city with thousands of roofers. First off, okay, not all of them are licensed either, I'll tell you. Especially as well now, knowing that my competition's going the wrong direction, the easy path, right? You're supposed to go down the path that's harder, okay? The obstacle is the way. So the companies that I'm looking up to, that I'm modeling after, are Monarch Roofing out of the Carolinas, I think, Eustis Roofing, these legacy brands where they have in-house teams, in-house training, in-house production, in-house control of everything, to provide the best service possible, which is a dream of mine. And the dream was to be the best pizza guy in the world. The dream was to be the best gutter guy in the world. But there were forces at play that helped provide a richer foundation. Maybe pizza wasn't there to help me reach my fullest potential. Maybe Gutters wasn't there to offer me the richest experience. Maybe the universe has something in store for us that I don't quite understand yet. I don't know. But I'm going to try to find out. Okay? Like, there's no way I'm not going to go another 5-10 years down this path and wonder what if. Okay? Shout out to the team, my sister. You guys are fucking badass. And I want to make sure that everyone's set up in their lives to build a foundation that they want for their families. We say when we flow together, we grow together. And it's an honor to work side by side with some of the most honest, rich, purposeful individuals, families here in the Portland area that make it easier to flow. So, and the fact that I love that I can trust you guys to take care of our property owners is so indescribably priceless. We're next to the gun shop too here, the gun club in Northeast now, so we get these noises. But thank you guys. So that being said, what a fucking thumbnail we're gonna have to try to put up for this. We're gonna put this up at some point. But anyway, the best roofs are built from the inside out. It's built in the housing code. It's just as more important in multifamily. If you want the best ROI on the product, if you want the best ROI on asphalt specifically, because it has a completely different timeline than any of the other products. And again, I've said this in other videos, but we don't specialize in every single roof. We only touch TPO, PVC, metal, and asphalt. We do not touch green roofs. We don't fuck with EDPM. Mod Bit will restore, but we're not going to do much else. Maintenance, you guys, is the name of the game. Okay, so 2024 we were repair, maintain, replace. 2025, I can't believe it took this long to fucking add it. So we're repair, maintain, restore, replace. So we have the capacity for replacement. We don't want anyone to buy roofs. They're expensive. No one should buy a roof. If they have good maintenance, then they can get the best ROI. They can keep kicking the can down the road. But again, every property owner, every decision maker's got different risk tolerances, different value-based decision-making principles. And so you need to weigh in what your timeline is. How long do I even plan on being in the property, okay? What is going to be the best result? Who's going to have my best interests at heart, okay? Is it going to be the company that sends in a commissions salesman who's just telling you whatever you want to fucking hear so that way you make a decision faster and lie to you so that you think you like the guy, but he told you that, like, he was also a Christian when you know the fucker's not, right? Like, so we have we're a salary with a bonus structure in our inspections, and the salary's there for the requirement that they have to provide the value and the education and the training that I put down for our inspectors, but the bonus is there for holding the line on the standards and being in the right place at the right time, as well as buying into our vision, right? It's the thank you. And we also have these referral programs. It's the thank you to the neighbors as well for all different properties in Portland. So here we go. We made it past the hour mark. We're not nearly done at all with this rant. I was gonna do a series of different little videos out of the thing, but and I don't have the time or the bandwidth to be able to chop things up in like the YouTube Shorts way. If I do one of them, it's usually just like because I click record and do a 1 minute take, which is what I was doing in just Instagram stories. But now I guess we can copy and paste those, put some fancy little music behind it to do TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, wherever you can scroll, I guess. because it's technically free marketing. I really I want to share the story with you guys, right? I'm gonna take a hyperlapse of the rose bushes here later today. Gonna put some extra grass seed down. I got some fertilizer, some rose nutrient as well. I'm gonna hyperlapse the painting of the room here after this. I got a solid 4 hours of work here to do on Saturday, and that's not including organizing the warehouse, shopping for all the different aspects that are going to go into all these different projects this summer, making videos like this for our team, helping them understand how we flow, so that I know that if they're watching these videos, they consume the content for the expectations that I'm laying down. I got to build this, I want to build this cedar stained countertop slab for the entryway, and we want to have this brass organ cutout sign just so people don't even mistake that we're not local. So yeah, an organ cutout in the Oregon branch, that makes sense. Do Washington for Washington at some point. So we need a forklift, we might need even a boom lift. We've got a couple other secret. We're looking at maybe even starting. Oh shit! I can't say that yet. We've got some stuff coming, you guys. What else? So again, Gabe, you lit that fire into my ass. That's the same energy I try to throw around the shop, the office. Is like, you are holding yourself back from your fullest potential. No one else but your own decisions. And I love that the buy-in from the team is that, yeah, they all want to be better. So they're all working diligently to serve people at the highest, which then trickles down into a culture that roots itself in great hard work. So again, being in the boats, they would do seat races, and they would swap dudes out of seats to see which boats would go faster. You want to be a slower boat, right? When you're doing a seat race, you wanted your boat to go faster when you're in that other boat. And so I say you have to pull your own weight, because when you're holding onto your oar and you're stroking, you're pulling the boat's weight, your weight, you're pulling. It's such a monotonous sport. I didn't last more than a year, but it was incredible. It laid the foundation for what I would do during my fourth and then fifth year as well, because it showed me what my true potential was. I was a better student athlete in those days. I was taking biochem, calculus, anatomy, two very thick and very different content rich 3 courses, and then the tail end of the spring and summer, that's when I jumped into the laboratory. Because then I'd have time not to be rowing, and then that's where we got into circadian rhythm and blue light studies through washing neurons in the ACSF and the veterinary hospital, and Dr. Patrick Chappelle and his incredible capacity for biomechanism and understanding, and as probably one of the more bright individuals on the university amongst an incredible staff. Dr. Devin Quick, thank you for letting me in the laboratory. Shit, the cadaver lab was such an amazing experience. I can see his face. My algebra teacher, to just explaining things in a way that seems so easy. Apparently, I was like, why is algebra the most failed class in college? That was still only just getting B pluses, right? But I felt good. As a first gen student, graduate, I was like, no shit, it's not that terrible. I mean, you get a C plus, you get a B plus, like, it's not because you didn't try, just because there's so much content they compress. And maybe I am just a B level individual. I'll take it, right? Like a B level individual chasing his dreams. Effort over talent. Effort over talent. Talent requires effort. excuse me, you can get to a talented point through effort, obviously. But anyway, are we going to talk about roofs? We're going to talk about shingles. We're going to talk about products. We're going to talk about training. We're going to talk about scheduling. We're going to talk about commercial. What? Talk about something here, Boudreaux. That's, why am I listening to you at all right now? I get it. I'm sorry. These are my 1 cup coffee rants, and you go want to. I get 2 cups on a Monday or Tuesday, and the team's like, get this guy away from me. So, okay, we're gonna wrap things up. I've got a lot to do. I think that's it for today. We'll circle through. I'm gonna jump back on roofs next week. We've got rain at fishing trip. Again, the vendors calling us out for. Super excited to have you all witness the good, the bad, and the ugly here at Flow. And I mean, we're gonna be diving in deeper into this industry. And I thought I was in the weeds last year. We were flowing, but this year is when the universe has now said there's some type of message out there that I'm trying to decode still. And it's easier for me to connect with that message when I'm on a wave and I'm surfing. And we'll definitely be, I have to take this board into this guy who's going to polish it up in Washington. I don't deserve this board. It's hand carved, glassed in, single fin, 810, I think. Maybe it's an 8.6. Fucking beautiful board. We call it butter board. Butter board, but butter board. Like butter mochi. That Hawaiian shit, so good. It's easier for me to have that type of understanding when I'm on a wave. It's where I truly flow best. And I hope that everyone has the ability to find a place where they truly flow. I'm sure that's where I see, like, you know, when a man goes and leaves his wife and goes to the garage and works on the car or something, he's looking for flow. I don't relate to that right now, but you know, like when an artist secludes themselves in their studio just to create, that's flow. Student athletes, when they're taking a test and everything they've studied for in the last 3+ months are now distilled to a 60-minute period where they have to perform and remember in order for that information to flow out and onto the page to circle the correct answer. That's flow. The way the biosphere pushes the different gases in our atmosphere through pressure systems that we don't fully understand in the oceans that are relating to temperatures and ozones and melting temps of icebergs and solar flares. So that's flow. The way I love this one. When I look at a tree, I see the stalk, the trunk as this giant straw creating a negative pressure that's created from the stamen of a leaf opening up, releasing oxygen, and that helping draw up water from the ground. Like, think about a redwood. We're talking, I don't understand the weight metrics of it all, but like, think about how much water is in a redwood, okay? That is flow, okay? And I love to think about how we're starting to have a better understanding, still very limited, in how forests are connected with fungi, and how trees are communicating through the mycorrhizal networks, expanding from mother trees that are way older, even helping sick trees, which is a lesson that we need to learn from here as Homo sapiens. That's flow. And in my pursuit of maximizing flow in my own life, I hope that this information, these rambles, are providing something that gives you value and not just wasting your time, but hopefully inspiring you to search for more flow in your life, which is going to help you discover the purpose necessary so that way you can stick through the things that aren't exactly socially defined as successful, because anything worthwhile doesn't come easy. You get out what you put in. And so with that, I've got to start flowing. So I think we'll go out, we'll get a little bit of dancing tonight too. So our artists coming into town, I gotta cut loose a little bit, but ultimately, shoot, I wish I could meet everyone. That's another thing too. So a reason why I had to take off the belt, we'll just end with this, that I was so upset with people at a 50-50 closing rate, 50% closing rate. I would pour into these conversations, we'd have these heart-to-hearts, and people would say, oh, well, I just went with something cheaper. And they didn't ask for a second opinion, or maybe they didn't like me, I don't know. The heartbreak of putting so much energy into the people that I wanted to care for was, I can't be an inspector, I can't be in sales anymore because I care too much. I was like, in my mind, I was like, fuck you guys. Like, if you don't want someone who cares the most, good luck. You can go off on your own journey, and we don't ever have to speak again. And that's what happened a lot of times. But I took it personally. I was taking it way too personally. And so I'm not a good salesperson, and that's again why I yell at my guys. We don't fucking sell here at Flow, okay? So anyway, there's so many more lessons we could talk about, but the team needs me to push the needle forward, make sure they have the environment that then can cater to you clients so that we can serve everyone at the highest. We'll talk more about the pizza journey down the road. We'll talk more about roofs, boring old roofs down the road. We'll talk about building people. We'll talk about decision making. We'll talk about surfing. We'll talk about all the different things. But I finally learned my lesson. We recorded this on the phone instead of through Canva, which I thought would have made the upload easier. But we'd lost fucking like 2 of these videos. And again, like I don't know if you can tell, but I'm putting a little bit of energy into this because I know that there's going to be good energy out. And when those videos didn't save, I was like, ooh, that was painful. So that being said, though, hope y'all flowing, hope y'all growing, and yeah, till next time. Ciao.